Good afternoon. Welcome back to the TNT Sports Show here at J7 Sports Grill. Alongside my co-host Terry, I'm Travis. First of all, I'd just like to apologize for the 2-week hiatus. Yours truly has been on the weather the past 2 weeks, so we apologize for the delay in the show here. Getting into things this week, we'll start off with some football action. We'll have Terry talk about what the Miners have coming up.
Well, we got North Central coming up at a game at Linton. It's the regular season finale at Roy Williams Field. Looking at the records, I was kind of surprised to see North Central's 5-3. Plus, they've got their starting quarterback back. He did not play against Eastern Green, which was a 70-28 loss for the other Thunderbirds from Farmersburg. But he's back now, so that should help North Central a little bit when they come to Linton. Other than that, I don't really expect that it's going to be that close of a contest, but they still have to play the game. So,
and not that they've needed a little extra edge, but the Miners have had a little bit of extra edge the last couple of weeks after the unfortunate accident with the ineligible player against North Davies.
Yeah, and that probably just motivated them a little bit to just show that, there's a loss on the record officially, but I don't know, maybe they did come out and send a little bit of a message and play a little harder.
And Eastern Green, they have Tecumseh this week. After a 6-0 start, they're subbing a little bit tougher part of their schedule last couple of weeks after a 39-20 loss to Mount Vernon 2 weeks ago. And then they just kind of fell flat after the first quarter there last week against Linton Stockton. So they're looking to get back on the winning track this week against Tecumseh. And then they've already secured the school's first conference championship, so that's nice for them. And then also the first winning season for them is already guaranteed. So they're looking to get back in the winning streak heading in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens Friday night.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be a good chance for Eastern Green to do just that, get back on the winning track. You mentioned that Eastern Green's been a little bit of a slump. Tecumseh's been in even more of a slump, having lost 4 games in a row. And it isn't quite the same Tecumseh team that Eastern lost to 28-14 last year. So Eastern Green should have a good chance in this one.
And they come in a little banged up, too, with the loss of Brent Price in that Mount Vernon game. And then last week, Isaac Hamilton, which has had some good carries, some good reps the last couple weeks, he was lost to what we think is a concussion injury, so we'll see if he's back yet or not. So they got a couple of key injuries, so we'll see how they bounce back from that as well.
Yeah.
And then volleyball in the regular season is coming up now. This week's the last week for that, and then sectional will start next week. So maybe we'll just talk about what you have coming up and all that.
Yeah. Well, the 2A sectional is hosted by Eastern Green. Eastern Green gets things started off with a match against South Knox. They met South Knox earlier at South Knox in one of those round robins, and they lost in 3 sets down there. But sometimes those can be a little bit tough. You're making a long road trip, playing at 9:00 Saturday morning. May not quite be the same Thunderbird team we're used to seeing most nights. And then, in a little 3-set Saturday format, a team maybe could come back and win in 5 sets in a regular match. So we'll just have to see. That should be a good match to start things off. Obviously, Linton got the most favorable draw in that sectional. They drew by along with Mitchell. They played Mitchell in the first semifinal, and they just swept Mitchell pretty handily the week before. So more than likely, we're going to see Linton and Bar Eve meet in the final. And Bar Eve's tough. I don't know much about them other than that they're 22-5 and they're ranked 4th Class 2A, and this is their first year in 2A after they moved up due to the tournament success factor. I've asked some of the coaches to see if they can get me some more information on Bar Eve's personnel and things like that. So we'll know more about that next week.
I had them earlier in the year. They played both Eastern Green and Bloomfield earlier in the year. Just talking to their coach, she said they were kind of a young team this year, but I thought that they played a lot better than what a young team looked like anyway. And then also possibly in that semifinal match against Eastern Green. I think Eastern Green's been playing a lot better the last few weeks. So they had a couple big conference wins last week. So maybe they got a little bit of momentum going into the postseason as well for them.
Yeah, Eastern Green, those kids are all over the court. They hustle. I mean, if you look at their stats, these girls like Katie Morgeson and Kelsey Fleener and Sally Spice, they've got almost as many digs as they do kills. They're just moving all over the court. Butler has over 600 assists, and they've got just 3-4 all-around players that are just all over the floor. Linton's got a couple frontliners. Riley Fiddler and Katie Clothier are both over 250 kills for the season. Libby has 770 assists this year, so that's quite a number. Libby's also had 60 aces serving the ball. Butler for Eastern's had 50 aces, so they're leading their respective teams in that category.
And then over in Class A sectional at Clay City, that's just going to be a dogfight there with Bloomfield, Clay City. Also throw in North Central there. WRV is going to be a team worth dealing with as well. And then you got Shakamak as well. That they've had a down year, but you don't want to overlook a team like that come postseason time as well.
WRV and Bloomfield had basically the same draw this year. They had a barn burner or 4-setter in the opening round of last year's sectional, and I think one of the sets was like 30-28 or something, so it was a dogfight between those two. And just like you mentioned earlier, it's tough to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. That's exactly what happened last year. Clay City had beaten Bloomfield twice, and Bloomfield won the sectional semifinal.
Then moving on, we got cross country regionals coming up this Saturday. We got teams down at Bedford Lawrence Regional, then also you'll be over at Round County.
Yeah. It's been another good year for cross country in Greene County. We've got 4 teams and 14 individuals that have moved on to the regional, so we're going to be well represented there. 4 WRV guys are going over to Brown County, and then the other 10 individuals and those 4 teams, the Bloomfield boys and 3 girls teams, the Eastern Green girls, Bloomfield girls, and the Shakamak girls are all going to be running down at Bedford.
And just kind of weird seeing, it's kind of heartbreaking that WRV boys didn't get out, but it's kind of odd that you don't see their whole team out, but yet they got 4 individuals out, so you don't really see that a lot.
Well, and Mike Carr said before the season started, it's going to be up to our 5th through 7th runners to see how we do as a team, in these bigger meets. He was right. But they've got 4 good runners going over to Brown County. So, and Buddy Davis made it to the semi-state last year, and I fully expect that he'll do the same this year. Maybe one or both of the Cornelius brothers can join him. That'd be interesting to see.
Then that about wraps it up for the team-wise. Just want to congratulate Bloomfield junior Felicity Graff for being this week's Athlete of the Week. She set Bloomfield's career mark for career assists last week. She had 35 assists in a win last week, and the previous career record was 759. And I think going into this week, she was up to 785. So just congrats to Felicity Graff on that as well. So that about wraps up this week's sports show. We just want to thank you, and we'll see you next week.